Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear friends, viewers of Ikra TV. Welcome to another edition of Real Talk. I'm your host, Iqbal Bana. As I keep saying to you every week, I invade your privacy in your homes on a Monday evening at 6 o'clock. But in the process, I try and bring to you people of interest, people who have something to share with us that will inform us as a community. So that will also inspire us into some of the stuff that impacts our community on a day-to-day basis. And every week, inshallah, I try and bring people of great knowledge and wisdom who will give us information, guidance, etc., on some of the challenges that we as a community face in this country and abroad as well. And today is no exception. I want to talk today about education. Education is one of the key principles and fundamentals that we as a community, as a Muslim, particularly Muslims, as the Prophet ﷺ has said in his wisdom, he told us right from the beginning, that education is one of the key cornerstones of a human being. And if you have to gain education, you have to travel all the way to China, then you better do so, because without education, you will not succeed in this world at all. So today I want to talk to our education. I have a very special guest with me, and she's the head teacher, Mrs. Mahmood Rizwan, the head teacher of Carlton Junior School in Dewsbury. This is a school that a few years ago was failing, had huge issues and huge problems. It had a very large, substantial Muslim community supporting it. The pupils from the Muslim community were pupils there. And this is a school that had failed miserably over many, many years and was in the doldrums at one stage. And even at some point, there were thoughts about closing it down and merging with somebody else. And Mrs. Mahmood took it over. How long ago, she'll tell us now. And now it is now one of the most successful schools in the area, a junior school, and has now become a teaching school as well. And I want to ask her to share with us her journey. I mean, for a Pakistani Muslim woman, she's from Pakistani ethnicity, to be a head teacher of a junior school is no mean feat, because she started education and teaching at a time when there was a lot of challenges facing Muslims in this country, or people of color at that time as well. So I would like to make a special welcome. Mr. Mahmood, welcome to my program. Thank you for joining me on a cold, miserable morning at the moment. There's prediction of snow as well this evening. Indeed. So those of you who are in the southern part of the country where you don't have snow, prediction of snow, make the most of it before you get it as well. Inshallah, we will finish our program before the snow arrives and you'll be able to get home safely. So welcome. Thank you for joining me. I know your colleague was supposed to be with us as well, Sagufta Mirza, but unfortunately she has not been well, so she's not able to join us today. You're the head teacher of Carlton Junior School, as I say, a school that I visited actually on a couple of occasions in my capacity as Deputy Lieutenant, and I've thoroughly enjoyed my time there as well. Now, you started off at this school. When did you take over this school, or become the head of the school?
Well, first of all, Iqbal, thank you very much for inviting me. And it's an absolute honour and pleasure to be here at Ikra TV. So I started in 2014 as head. Right. But prior to that, I was deputy at the school, and the school was in very challenging circumstances, with falling numbers and performance tables that were below the national benchmark and consistently below, Ofsted categories that were well below, and it was a school causing concern. So we had swarms of consultants in, school improvement officers, to try and help to raise the standards. And so, there was much needed, an understanding of the school and its context was needed. I felt that was missing. And so when I took on the role as head teacher, a whole overhaul of the curriculum was required. The curriculum needed to be fit for purpose for those children, and a true connection with the community, understanding the community context.
Do you feel that connectivity was not there before you took over?
Yes, 100%. I think that was the Achilles heel for the school, and I felt, I literally, going on, knocking on doors, dragging children out of bed. It wasn't.
Was it that bad?
Yes, it was.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it was. We can't, we cannot say that it's okay for children to miss a day from school. It's okay, these children, they have issues. No, I'm sorry, we've got to have those expectations. Every child has a right to education, and every child should attend every day. So, yeah, we've had to do some groundwork, roll the sleeves up, get down to ground zero on their level, understand each family's context, understand each child. And that takes time. And the success that we have today as a teaching school, as a centre of excellence, we are also a leader for the Yorkshire and Humber Maths Mastery. I'm a national head teacher advocate. I'm also a school improvement officer for the Kirklees Authority. So our and my senior leaders are also moderators and school improvement consultants. So our work
Does
now...
Does that mean you go and help other schools?
Yes, that's right. We
where they
troubleshoot
may
elsewhere.
have issues, yeah.
Yes, and we are a host school. We are a NACE school.
Right.
NACE is the National Association for More Able Children.
Right.
So we have that accreditation, and we're going for ambassador status now. So from where we started to where we are now, we are literally defining excellence, and I'm not going to shy away from saying that.
What percentage of your pupils are from the Muslim community?
98%.
98?
98% are from the Muslim community. And out of those 98%, we have an equal split of Indian pupils and Pakistani pupils. But it's becoming more and more diverse because it's selected school by parent choice now, which is a very stark difference to where we started. Falling numbers, we are now
So you have a long waiting list?
We have long waiting lists in every
from
year
that surrounding area?
Yes. So last year, just as an example, for our new starters in reception, we don't have a nursery, so we start in reception. We had 184 applications, and we can only take 30. So year on year, I'm attending appeals, and we're oversubscribed. We're getting the locum doctors, the nurses, the professional students that are coming from abroad. They are selecting our school.
All right, that's a major turnaround, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Must make you feel quite proud as well.
Absolutely. I am proud of my workforce.
I'm sure, and many congratulations. I mean, I know you have a very good team of staff, because as I say, when I visited there, and a very disciplined children as well when I've been there.
Yes.
So it's really nice to see all that. I mean, obviously, as a head, you must have been in the field of education. You must have started early.
Yes.
How did you? What made you enter the field of education?
Well, it was actually I was picked up in Bradford. I started my career in Manningham.
All right.
And
the toughest area, I presume.
One of the toughest areas, and it was. We had a new head. I was only into my second year of teaching, and she said to me, I've watched you and your headship material. You're going to be a head one day. And I thought, I don't think so, but and that happened, and then from there a colleague kind of headhunted me. But
what first actually made you go into teaching?
I think now this is interesting because I
mean, you could have had I presume any opportunity to do all sorts of things.
and I have trialed.
You could have gone into medicine. You could have gone into law. So what attracted you to go into teaching?
I think my mother played a key role in that, and she was also, because she trained to be a teacher but didn't actually take up the role. So and she always said to me that this profession.
So did she teach? Did she actually work in a school or not?
She did work in a school. She got her degree. She's a highly educated lady of her time. When she came to England, she was educated anyway. Then she concentrated on the family. She did some youth officer work, a bit like some of the colleagues that you've had on the programme. So yes, she did that. She worked in community.
So she was your inspiration.
She was a role model, and I think she was really the key person driving me into education. I had a degree prior to that, and
we have a call waiting. That's very early. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Can you tell me where you're from, please, and what's your name?
I'm from Manchester, Chaudhry Arshad.
Oh, Chaudhry Arshad, how are you?
I'm good. You okay?
Not too bad, thank you.
I love to see, when a star comes up, in the world for doing something for our nation. and appreciate my sister doing very well, and hope they do it all over the country. We need that because when you go to a different school, your growth levels drops, especially Asians. Racism in there, they never change.
Yes.
Plus, the kids never come home and tell the mom or sister this happened. They keep it hard, and it's stressful for the kids, and they growth stop, and they have so many they don't put effort in to go higher education. But what sister doing, I appreciate this. We need to do more for our children. Our nations are very brave. They're very educated.
Definitely.
Inshallah, they go far,
Inshallah.
Like my sister doing work, and I need some more people doing it all over the Britain. So pick up your nation, We know the nation. We are a very brave nation. We are very educated. We are a very, like everything you name it, any field. Our nation is a beautiful and powerful. It's just it was a lack of education and lack of.
And I think that
we never had.
So that's one of the things I'll be talking to Mrs. Mahmood about, because in my days, for example, when we went to school, the teachers had very little expectation of kids from the Asian community.
Yes.
They sort of basically dismissed them, and obviously that is now changing.
Same here, sir. Yeah. Same
that
because I'm your age, and when I went to school, everything like I regret I couldn't get the education that I know with the love from the school. We never had the love.
Yes.
And no opportunity for our kids. They go love from our community. Like
It was not only that. I mean, when young people express a desire to go into professions, in a lot of cases, the careers teachers in those days and the teachers actually dismissed them into sort of menial manual jobs to say you're only fit to do mechanical work.
That's mentally disturbed the kid who are educated.
Exactly.
Doing it, but they were disturbed.
Yeah,
now
exactly.
we have opportunity, and I pray for my sister. She's doing a very good work.
Thank you very much.
Inshallah, she will get this reward.
Inshallah. Thank you. And as you've heard, obviously, they have a very large group of Muslim people, 98%, and they'll be inspiring. They'll be inspiring. Yes.
Open a few idare more there, few schools.
Oh,
people
definitely.
need to come up.
Definitely.
Help them, and somebody took this step. It's beautiful, and I love the community. They should go help us, like put money in. We wasted our money for no reason everywhere here and there. We need to go back to education.
I agree.
Prophet Muhammad says education from anywhere in the world, and this is what she's doing.
Thank you. Thank you, Chaudhry Sahab. Thank you very much for those inspiring comments, and I'm sure Mrs. Mahmood will welcome that. But
absolutely.
So I mean, coming back to you, you went into education. Obviously, like you say, your mother was your sort of inspiration, but your father must have supported
my
as
father
well.
has a big part to play in this. So my father's story is quite funny actually, because when I got my first degree, and
how many degrees have you got?
I've got quite a few. Quite a few.
Very academic.
I've
one of my pride and joys that when I worked as an assistant director in local government, my secretary and my PAs had more qualification than I did.
That's amazing.
All my staff had more qualification. One of my senior members of staff had a PhD, and I don't have an O-level or a GCSE under my name. So I'm really
But you
grateful.
still must have had some quality.
I'm really grateful to Allah for letting me get to the stage where I don't deserve to be. So I'm extremely grateful to Him.
You're a pioneer.
But obviously, so you did quite a few degrees.
So I've done, yes, and I'm just in the process of submitting. Well, it's just tweaking my doctoral research. It was a longitudinal study. So well, my dad used to say to me every time I got a degree, "So what?" So what? And when I got my PGC, and he said, "So what? You going to be a teacher? You want to be a teacher?" And my mum said, "Yes, she's going to be a teacher."
Right.
But and then it wasn't good enough for him. So then I went on to do a master's.
So that drove you to do more and more.
And I did more and more and
more.
Right. And when I got my MBE, and we went to
I'm going to mention that later.
Yeah, he said to me, "Now I'm proud of you." And I thought, gosh, and I didn't understand at the time, but I know now what he was doing. And I thank my parents wholeheartedly for the upbringing that we had. We had a very strict upbringing, almost close to perfection those that era of parents. I myself, you were talking earlier, the brother earlier was talking about their experiences, you know, of education. And, you know, I'm a product of the 80s, the late 70s, 80s. So just as the busing policy was being phased out in Bradford. So I was one of those children who was bused to the outskirts of Bradford. And there were, you know, just a small minority of a handful of children on these buses. And the policy itself, you know, I don't shy away from saying that was a racist policy, unfortunately. And I know the idea was assimilation and integration, and many positives came out of it as well. You know, it gave us the social etiquette, the tolerance, and the ability to mingle. However, you know, imagine doing that in this day and age. But, you know, I think the expectations were low. I think opportunities were missed, particularly in secondary schools. And
as Brother Arshad Chaudhry said as well,
absolutely.
the young Asians and African Caribbean people.
And my own school, I think opportunities were missed for the children who had been there in the past. And I think, you know, the position that we are in now, the time that it's taken to create this cherry-picked team that I have, these amazing individuals who give more nurture and care, you know, that those children probably, you know, I'm in awe of them. I watch them every single day. And the minute those children, you know, it's not a show. And Iqbal Bhai, you've been several times to my school, and it's consistently, you know, a good school. And those children, and they're well-mannered because they have the respect from the teachers. They know we care. And I think we have to model that constant, you know, the manners, the love for learning, and they see that in the adults who take care of them in the 6.5 hours that they are there on a daily basis. So this is the success.
So obviously, Chaudhry Arshad has mentioned, you know, things have changed from then to now, and obviously, it's, you know, the success, and may you have more success. And I was going to mention this later on, that as one of the reasons for this, one of the results and outcomes of this success has been that she has been recognized by the country, and she was awarded an MBE, which is a member of the British Empire Medal, for her work in education. And hopefully that will get even better as you move on. But I mean, parents play a very vital role in the education of their children.
Indeed.
Now, as I said before, the first generation, the second generation, were very much concentrating on earning money, because they still had family back home, so they had to make money and send it back home to their families, etc. Now, you know, we're now in the fourth and fifth generation of people in this country. Have you seen the change in the parents themselves as well? You know, and how has that supported you in the work that you and your colleagues do?
I think, to be fair, you know, the parents, if I start with the parents of the early migrants, yes, you're absolutely right. You know, that was their one mission, to earn money and go back home. There wasn't really the intention of settling here, and that didn't happen. Eventually, they settled, and they spent long hours working, and you know, the priority wasn't education. However, what we did have was the moral compass, the ethics, and the social responsibility, the respect for elders. It was a strict upbringing, and we're reaping the rewards now. We understand why. A lot has gone wrong in society, unfortunately, for you know, for those people who arrived early, and you know, I think this is a forum where I'd like to say this: mental health, due to substance misuse, due to, you know, the lack of appreciation for what life has to offer, and you know, and then we end up living on the poverty line. And I think there's a solution to everything if the mindset is right. And parenting, on the one hand, we do have, you know, two distinct groups. We have those who have done well, generation by generation, and the professionals, and their ambitions have grown even stronger for their children, and we can see the difference. And we can see this in school, where parental engagement is strong. The success of the child is
much better.
And where parents don't engage, you can see it, you know, and we have to
Right.
work with, there's other gaps in those children's lives. So I urge parents to understand that the school is an education institution. Behaviours and manners and etiquettes are taught at home.
Definitely.
And so it
As I
makes
say,
our job easier.
the first
Makes our job
madrasa is in
easier.
the home.
Absolutely.
You know, the first madrasa is
absolutely.
in the home, and that is a well-known fact.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if Chaudhry Asghar Sahib is still listening, he would probably agree with that as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure he would. But as you know, education is one of the cornerstones and fundamentals of any society. And until society understands the value of education, which in the majority of cases, in your case, your parents do, because that's the reason why your school has become so successful, because they work in partnership with you.
Yes,
So when we come back in the second part of the program, we'll talk about more of that, and also some of the we know we're going through austerity, and some parents are finding it very hard and difficult. I mean, I'm not sure whether you face some of those challenges as well. I'm sure you do, like everyone is doing in the country. But if you want to share your thoughts on education, where you think you can help and play your role with your children and members of your family, please phone in, as Chaudhry Asghar has done. The number is on your screen, 01274 214 299. We'd love to hear your thoughts, your ideas. Either you're a parent or a grandparent or somebody who aspires to actually go into education, like Mrs. Mahmood as well, and you may want to ask some questions to her. Please feel free to do so. We would love to hear what you have to say. And how important do you think it is that the dovetail between the parents and the dovetailing of the relationship between the parents and the school and the staff is important to you, and whether you are able to participate? And if you do, how do you do it? And how do you think that benefits your child and other people's children as well? Don't go away. We'll be back very soon with you. I know last week I said that this program was going to be on assisted dying. I'd forgotten. That's going to be next week. I'll have Mufti Zubair with me as well. So I'll remind you of that again at the end of the program, inshallah. But it's been nice having you with me. Don't go away. As I say, enjoy your tea, coffee, faluda, whatever it is. I'll be with you soon. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.